Hello everyone and welcome to my first Fallout 76 quick build. Unlike my normal builds which are designed for the end game, these quick builds will be designed for the early game. If you're just starting out a new character, then these are builds you can use to deadly effectiveness before you've even left the forest. If you want to skip ahead to a specific section of any of my builds, I always leave timestamps in the description. For these quick builds, I'm also going to be linking the build on the Nukes Dragon site, which gives you an easy reference for perks and special. Speaking of which, the special for this build is Strength, Perception, Endurance and Charisma all at 2, and Intelligence, Agility and Luck are all sat at 3. This creates for a bit of a generalist build framework that will not only work great for this character, but also gives you plenty of flexibility as you move through higher levels. We have far fewer perks in this type of build as opposed to my standard style, so let's go through each of the special trees one at a time. In Strength, I selected Travelling Pharmacy and Pack Rat. These reduce the weight of chems and junk respectively. Carry weight can be a real pain in Fallout 76, so anything that helps mitigate that is of great benefit. In Perception, we have Rifleman and Concentrated Fire. Rifleman is our first damage perk, boosting non-automatic rifle damage by 10%. Concentrated Fire will allow us to target specific body parts in VATS. Although I'm generally terrible when it comes to using VATS, this is still a really great perk to have at your disposal. Within Endurance, I don't have any recommended perks, as I wouldn't advise specifically spending early level ups on acquiring Endurance perk cards. Instead, just use whatever ones you happen to get in perk card packs. For Charisma, we have the wonderful Lone Wanderer perk card. This will use up both points of Charisma, but it's well worth it for 10% damage reduction and AP regen. Within Intelligence, we have a Licensed Plumber at rank 2 and Gunsmith rank 1. We use pipe weapons with this build, which makes Licensed Plumber a great perk, ensuring our weapons break incredibly slowly and are easy to fix. Gunsmith is used to get the best mods for our weapons, something I'll be going over in the equipment section. This perk also makes this build a level 11 build as opposed to a level 8 or 9 build. However, it makes a huge difference, so don't miss out on this card. On to Agility now, where we have Gorilla, Gunrunner and Through Hiker. Gorilla is our second damage perk, boosting automatic pistol damage by 10%. Gunrunner increases your run speed by 10% whilst wielding a pistol. This was a perk I initially envisioned as a convenience perk, but I found it also proved incredibly valuable in combat, not just whilst travelling around West Virginia. Through Hiker is a perk I don't think I could live without. Fallout 76 is a survival game, so you need food and drink to keep yourself alive. This perk then reduces the weight of said food and drink by 30%, making it much easier to carry enough with you on your adventures. Finally, we move to Luck with the perks Scrounger, Farmer, and Serendipity. Scrounger is arguably the most important perk of these three. Whenever you find an ammo container, this perk card will allow you to initiate a manual search in order to find even more ammo. This character eats through .38 like you wouldn't believe, so any chance to get more of that stuff is well worth it. Farmer works in the exact same way as Scrounger, just for chems instead of ammo. And last of all, Serendipity. This card gives a 15% chance to avoid damage when below 30% health. This is a really nice safety net that could well end up saving your life. We have two weapons for this build, an auto pipe pistol and a pipe bolt action sniper. Let's start with the pistol, which is in fact a sharpshooter's armor piercing pipe auto pistol. I was able to make this weapon with a single rank of Gunsmith, and yet it deals out some really staggering DPS. The key with this weapon is to get a decent magazine size, a high fire rate, and as much damage with that as you can. Make sure this thing is modded out with a pistol grip instead of a rifle grip, or else you won't gain any benefits from Gorilla and Gunrunner. As my sniper, I had a suppressed hardened pipe bolt action rifle. For this weapon, what you'll need is a rifle stock and a scope. Everything beyond that is technically optional. For the best results though, I would highly recommend using the hardened receiver for max damage, and a suppressor, in order to be able to use this gun without alerting all of the nearby enemies. Due to the low level of this build, you'll likely be wearing a full set of leather armour. Something I would recommend you get your hands on is the Silver Lining chest piece. This is a leather armour chest piece that boosts endurance by 1, yielding both more hit points and disease resistance. To obtain this piece, you need to head to Morgantown Airport and complete the Responders quest, Tentative Plans. Additionally, consider completing any other quests and event you run across in order to gain more legendary pieces. I was fortunate enough to get myself a chameleon leather leg, which is why you'll see me turn invisible at points in the footage. To get the look that you will have seen in the thumbnail, you'll want to find yourself a steelworker uniform and helmet. These are fairly easy to find around the Morgantown and Flatwoods area, and give a fitting aesthetic to the character. This build is a bit of a hybrid, being both a sniper and a close range harasser. With the way I modded my sniper, I didn't have amazing range, so I would consider this build to be most effective at mid to close range. You can easily land headshots with your rifle until the enemy gets wise to your tactics. Once they start getting lively, switch to your auto pistol and run at speed towards the enemy to engage them at a closer distance. You shouldn't rely on sprinting too much in these situations, instead use the added speed from Gunrunner to help you close the distance and move around your targets. In the close-up fights, try to isolate enemies and take them on one at a time. The high fire rate will mean that you eat through the whole magazine in very little time, so you want to avoid having anything left alive whilst you're reloading. I found most enemies I faced easily went down with a single magazine of this weapon, making it incredibly deadly in one-on-one battles. The real difference between simply playing this build and mastering it is being able to manipulate your enemies so that they never overwhelm you, and instead you can dart in and out of danger, ensuring you're the one getting the most shots off. Vault 76 was built to house West Virginia's best and brightest. He was neither of these. Instead, the plumber was just what his name implies. Someone has to do the rough jobs, and he was one of these people. Keeping a vault maintained required more than astronauts, soldiers and overseers. It required real salt-of-the-earth people who knew the difference between an angle stop and a drain seal gasket. Without him, the vault would almost certainly be flooded in all sorts of waste after only a few months. The plumber wasn't all that popular with others in the vault. Most of the other residents treated him just like the Mr. Handies, a tool that was being used to make their lives underground just that little bit easier. He was often bitter about this fact, feeling like a second-class citizen within the vault. That said, he still knew he should be grateful. His trade had got him a place to hide away whilst the world tore itself apart, and spending his days grumbling or complaining wouldn't help him none. Instead, he chose to just focus on getting his work within the vault done, and making the best of it. After all, not everyone in the vault was all that bad. Sure, plenty of them seemed pretty stuck up and arrogant, still clinging on to their previous lives and the titles they held as if it made them better than everyone else. But not all of them were that bad though. Best of all, the Overseer herself seemed pretty down to earth, and always got along amicably with him. This made the 2.5 decades underground much more bearable. Having a good boss would make any job a million times more bearable, and ultimately this was still a job for him. He was under a 25-year contract. The pay stopped shortly after the bombs fell, and instead his payment came in the form of relatively comfortable living. Money didn't have any real value in the vault. Do your work and you get to eat, sleep, and do pretty much as you please. Problem was, they would have to leave after 25 years. Part of their job was to rebuild America, fixing a country that had been decimated by a foreign force. Fortunately for him, he'd spent his whole life fixing things that were broken. Thank you all for watching this build. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. I'm planning on doing another quick build next week, and then I'll be taking a look at how well these two perform to get an idea of what people want. Therefore, if you want to see more of these quick builds, make sure to share this video, as the more views it gets, the more likely I am to make more videos like it. Additionally, if you want to go a step further in helping me to carry on making content, consider becoming a Patreon. They're the unsung heroes of a channel, ensuring I can eat every day and spend my time focusing on making content. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Sarge out.